European Talent Cup is back in action this Sunday at MotorLand Aragón with just one race on the schedule, but championship implications that could echo throughout the season. Set near the historic town of Alcañiz, MotorLand Aragón is a 5-kilometre, 17-turn blend of fast sweepers, technical complexes, elevation changes, and of course, the reverse corkscrew that challenges even the most seasoned riders. But today, the European Talent Cup has to find solutions to the question posed by the circuit. Just 10 points separate championship leader Alex Longarella from Alvaro Lucas, while Fernando Bujosa is surging after his second win of 2025 in France. Meanwhile, Keandro Ramadipa will aim to back up his breakthrough Magny-Cours win, and defending champion Carlos Cano, currently 5th, returns to a circuit he conquered in 2024. Last time out in Magny-Cours, the ETC riders faced into a wet race 1 start with Matteo Gabarini launching from pole position. There was early drama as 5 riders crashed out on the opening lap. Keandro Ramadipa did some of the front running before he was reeled in by the chasing pack, which included Longarella, Cano and Lucas, before Bujosa joined the fray. Disaster struck for Carlos Cano and Longarella on the final lap as they collided and ended up in the gravel, opening the door for Ramadipa to pick up his maiden European Talent Cup win with Lucas and Christian Borelli on the podium. Race 2 was another dramatic affair in the slippy conditions of the French circuit, and it was Bujosa who got the grips with them quickest as he took the whole shot. Matteo Marolanda unfortunately didn't adapt to the conditions as well and crashed out early. At the front, Longarella began to apply some pressure on Bujosa in the victory fight as more riders fell victim to the conditions. Idan Rodriguez crashing out and then Rostagni, which led to red flags being waved due to track conditions, earning Bujosa his second win of the campaign. Bujosa and Ramadipa took those victories in the European Talent Cup last time out, but it is Alex Longarella who leads the championship coming into the sole race in Aragon. 27 degrees Celsius here at MotorLand. Beautiful sights around as we look at the castle of Alcañiz. I am Chris Jordan, bringing you live coverage today of the European Talent Cup race, and joining me is Connor Doherty. Connor, how much are you looking forward to this one?
I feel like it's going to be an absolutely incredible race. There we are, seeing a legend of this track, Marc Marquez. His turn 10 is one of the more iconic on what is an incredible circuit. Absolutely fantastic, and I think the ETC is going to be delivering here in the Aragonese heat today.
Yeah, absolutely. Riders will be doing their best to overtake in front of the iconic Aragon wall there as we get some more beauty shots of what lay around the circuit here. So a slight delay to proceedings, it needs to be mentioned. We had a red flag earlier in the day. There won't be any spoilers, but thankfully all riders are okay. Just causing a slight delay to proceedings here in Aragon. This is our third race of the day. If you're just tuning in now, make sure you go back and watch the opening JuniorGP and Moto2 races of the day because they were absolute belters. And, well, let's hope for more of the same here in the European Talent Cup. It always delivers. I'm going to go out on a limb here at the risk of the commentator's curse, the FIM jinx. The European Talent Cup always delivers drama, and I expect today to be no different.
Absolutely. It's one of the most incredible classes of racing that we have the privilege both to commentate on and enjoy as spectators. It's absolutely fantastic. The riders are the emerging talents, the rising stars in our sport, and there we can see fans enjoying this sunshine and the fantastic entertainment, the incredible racing on track. Quite a lot of fans out there braced for the heat in Aragon. It's 27 degrees and they're more than happy to be out there in their t-shirts watching on and enjoying what's on offer here in the European Talent Cup.
What better way to spend the Sunday, Connor? What better way to spend the Sunday than watching the next generation of talent?
And speaking of talent, there we are, focusing on Carlos Cano. He's going to be our pole sitter here in this sole race in the European Talent Cup. And what a talent he is. The reigning champion, he's back for more. Although a bit of a subdued start to this 2025 campaign.
Yeah, I mean, he lit the world alight last season in victory, battling Marco Morelli to take that European Talent Cup crown. We expected him to come in as the naturally the highest returner, but not many riders who placed inside the top 10 managed to return this year, but Cano has been good. It's his third pole of the season. Let's hear what he has to say.
I am very happy for this pole position because I do a very good lap, perfect lap. The feeling with the bike in this lap was crazy, and also the team, the work was incredible in this session, and I'm ready for tomorrow for the fighting.
A 2:01.080 then from Cano sees him start from pole position once again in the European Talent Cup. As we were just mentioning before, hearing from him, it's been somewhat of a subdued, as Connor says, an inconsistent season for the number one, because undoubted talent, and we will expect him to go up towards the Junior GP class once he is old enough, but just a few inconsistencies here and there sees him a little further behind in the championship. He's currently 5th. And he's won a race in Estoril. He crashed out of race 1 but bounced back to win race 2. In Jerez, we saw him on the podium taking a P2. Magny-Cours, another crash. So it is those inconsistencies that if you can just iron out a little bit, we can see him putting together a strong title challenge. And it is the consistency of particularly the riders like Alvaro Lucas. Lucas has 1 win to his name. That came back in Jerez, but he's been on the podium twice in Magny-Cours, P4 double in Jerez. That's what's got him leading the second in the championship, just behind Alex Longarella, another rider who's been super consistent, and consistency is key. So Cano has crashed out of 2 races. We saw him mixed up in a collision with Alex Longarella during the highlights of Magny-Cours. If you can just start seeing the checkered flag of them, we can see him stringing together a strong title challenge once again.
Absolutely, there's still plenty of time, plenty of races for him to do just that. It has to be said as well that when he crashes, he usually crashes out of either a battle at the front or from P1 in a race.
Yeah, absolutely. This is the thing. He is very much at the business end of proceedings in each race, but just has that little bit of misfortune from time to time. It even happened during his title-winning campaign. I remember a race, I believe it was in Portimao, where himself and having charged from the back of the grid, he was in the victory fight and clipped Valentin Perrone, or was clipped by Valentin Perrone to say it better, and saw him ruled out of the rest of the race.
We just saw Ramadipa there. The stewards were very busy yesterday. There are 13 sanctions in the European Talent Cup. Most of them meaning that riders have to start from the back of the grid, but Ramadipa, who we just saw there for an unsafe practice start, will have to serve a long lap penalty, and that's going to make his charge for the podium from P4 that little bit more difficult. Of course, the long lap here coming at the bottom of the reverse corkscrew is going to be very difficult, very technical. Going to have to be perfect through there.
Yeah, as you mentioned, 13 penalties, 12 of them back of the grid, 1 of them back of the grid, and a double long lap penalty. That's for Remy George San Juan, so not ideal for him.
No,
but also it's worth mentioning, we won't mention them all, but you will see who's at the back of the grid. They've been given penalties, but Matteo Gabarini, our pole sitter last time around, starts at the back of the grid as well, as we take a look at our championship leader, Alex Longarella. 2nd European Talent Cup season, P12 in last year's championship with a best result of P4, but he has far exceeded that already, leading the 2025 campaign. Double podium in Estoril, double podium in Jerez, getting that P1, his first victory in race 2 in Jerez. And I'm sure you remember, Connor, it was marginal at best as he took that victory. Photo finish, perhaps the closest photo finish I think I've ever seen. And it went to Longarella. He seemed to know he won it. He picked up a podium in Magny-Cours as well as a DNF. So Longarella has been on the podium consistently. 1 DNF, you can imagine he will be back among the lead group here.
I do wonder how much of an impact that crash with Carlos Cano is going to have that happened in Magny-Cours in race 1 there. 2 riders very much competing for the top position in this year's championship.
Travis Borg then, rookie rider from Malta, who has certainly captured the imagination and the attention of ourselves here. He is a rookie. He's meant to, you know, ease his way into things, but he's an aggressive rider and a fast rider, and we've seen him battling at the front quite a bit. He was quite unlucky in Estoril, starting on the front row, picked up P5 in race 1, but was on for a podium until a late incident at the last corner saw him run onto the gravel. Jerez picked up a P8 and a Magny-Cours double top 10. So it's been a solid season, you would have to say, in terms of results, but we have seen the potential come out, particularly in Estoril, that season opener where he was competing at the front.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there are so many candidates for surprise of the season this year. I mean, we've seen some incredible racing, as you mentioned there. Borg was fantastic in Estoril, and just a little bit unfortunate. There we have the Venezuelan Martinez on his Aspar machine.
Yeah, very international third row. You'd have to say you've got Colombia, you've got Venezuela, and you have Malta, which is wonderful to see that. The European Talent Cup bringing in riders from all across the globe. I can't remember the exact number of nationalities we have, but I think it's a pretty good mix.
Yeah, I mean,
from Europe to South America, all across Asia.
Yeah, and it's great to see those riders coming through and really excelling as well.
Absolutely. Not long to go now until we are underway here for the European Talent Cup race in Aragon. Eyes on Carlos Cano, who will start from pole position. Super talented rider. We've seen him make an impact already in the European Talent Cup, winning the title last season. He starts from pole position today, and this is your grid for the European Talent Cup race.
From pole, it's Carlos Cano alongside Lucas and Fernando Bujosa. Row 2, it's Ramadipo, Osorio and championship leader Longarella. On row 3, it's Marolanda, Borg and Tines. On row 4, Perez, Miroslavov and Almeida, Crajovil, Rodriguez and Galan behind them on row 5. And on row 6, Sanchez, Gutierrez and Tamburini. On row 7, Matsudaira, Savino and Cubeles. Row 8, Nativi, Karpushin and Boxberger. Row 9, San Juan, Gabrini and Borelli. Here we're very much entering into the territory of those sanctioned with back of the grid penalties. On row 10, Pio, Rouge and Perluzzo. I've just done a bit of work there, Chris, and there are 17 different nationalities. This is honest journalism. 17 different nationalities on this ETC, in this ETC class.
Very good. Oh,
there's an incident there.
We've got an issue already for Ignacio Galan.
He's pushing it.
It's Ignacio Galan, but
is it?
It is. The number 23, the Impala Honda rider. Disappointment for him. Hopefully he can get that up and running, because he was starting 15th on the grid, and he's had some good races so far this year, Galan. So hopefully now that doesn't consign him to a pit lane start. So let's see. Around the warm-up lap we go.
Far too eager to get that joke in there. Kapushin actually starts from 23rd.
I know, you've been building up to it all weekend. And, well, you normally only get one opportunity for these. Yes, exactly. Double long lap penalty coming your way, Mr. Doherty. So, we're just about to get underway here, just coming around the final sector. This is going to be probably one of the crucial areas you'd have to imagine in the race. We've seen it plenty of times. Down the right to left, 8 to 9, reverse corkscrew. Long lap penalty is there. We'll see some riders going through there, getting their practice in. And with the European Talent Cup, as it always is on these machines, slipstream will play a huge role, you would have to imagine. So that's where it's going to be really interesting in the fourth sector. Having navigated around the long looping sector 2 end into sector 3, then we have the left to right at 12-13. Before another right to left at 14-15, overtaking opportunities galore across those corners. But you would have to imagine, if it is a tight group, coming around that back straight with the long looping left-hander, double left-hander onto the finish line, that's where it's going to be won and lost this race. You would have to say.
You would have to say. You've also used a conditional there, if there's a tight group. I feel like in the ETC, there's no if there. This is always a race that delivers incredibly close, high-octane action from start to finish, and I fully expect that here in Aragon we're going to see something very, very similar.
Yeah, unfortunately for Ignacio Galán then, he has been consigned to the pit lane. Less than ideal start to his day. Well, let's see what he can do. He was meant to start 15th on the grid, but now he will come and join the back of the group. It's going to be a mission from there to get into the points. But let's focus on what's going to happen out front, because Carlos Cano is rolling up the pole position. The UAX 72 Artbox rider. Absolute jewel in the crown of Emilio Alzamora's team. Emilio Alzamora very much knows how to pick a rider. Carlos Cano, European Talent Cup champion, huge potential. Ryan Uriarte at JuniorGP. He's not doing too badly either, so you have to say, Alzamora, he's got an eye for these things.
Yeah,
Marc Marquez was in there too.
Absolutely, there's a reason why he's one of the most revered figures.
A certain unknown rider, Marc Marquez. So, we are ready to go then. We're just waiting for the flag, the red flag to go, and he does. Keep an eye on the number 1. Left of the screen, Carlos Cano starting from pole position. Eyes on the lights though. The reds are rising and we are about to get underway, and we are underway for the European Talent Cup race. And Carlos Cano goes straight in the middle, but brilliant start for Fernando Bujosa. Oh, that's a big crash at the back of the grid. I'm not sure who that is. Hopefully it's okay. That's a big crash. But Bujosa has taken the lead here, and Carlos Cano is in second position. Big crash at the start, but let's focus on the action at the front. Carlos Cano has dropped from pole position into second. Fernando Bujosa leading. Brilliant stuff from Bujosa. Alvaro Lucas is very much in contention as well.
Yeah, Bujosa here really starting as he means to go on.
Yeah, are we?
And then we do have the red flag there confirmed.
Red flag has come out. Red flag has come out, and rightly so.
Seeing that.
Rightly so.
We'll hope the rider involved is okay. We'll confirm exactly what happened as well as quickly as we can.
Yeah, we will bring you the latest updates as soon as we know, but obviously safety is paramount here. That was a big crash. So let's just hope that all the riders are okay. We didn't quite catch who it was.
Yeah, it seemed to be towards the back of the grid.
But the red flags are out, and we'll bring you updated information as soon as we have it. But let's just hope all riders make it safely back to the pit lane and their box.
Yeah, absolutely. And just manage to keep themselves focused for when we hopefully get this race restarted as well.
Yeah. So, we haven't completed a lap yet, so it was only half a lap gone. Carlos Cano started from pole position, but it was Fernando Bujosa who got the dream launch from the line to take the lead.
It was an excellent start from Bujosa, really.
Yeah,
After that win in France last time out, well, he got away exactly as he would have wanted to. As we come down the penultimate corner.
Yeah, so we'll bring you updated information as soon as we know more ourselves. But here you can see all the riders are coming into pit lane. So the European Talent Cup race interrupted on the first lap following a big crash from lights out. We just have to hope all the riders are okay. And the hope is, of course, this is precautionary, as the injured rider just needs some time to recover and gets the appropriate medical attention. So we'll bring you updates as soon as we know more.
For the time being, riders just returning to their boxes and making the necessary preparations, whatever mechanical changes are needed.
Yeah.
Let's get ready for a restart.
Should we have a quick restart procedure, then riders will take up their original grid positions, of course, having not completed more than 3 laps. We hadn't completed half of a lap, so Carlos Cano will go back into pole position. Bujosa will launch from 3rd.
Yeah, Bujosa will be trying to get away as well as he did in the opening this time out, if we do get restarted.
Yeah. So, while the interruption is here, we can just talk about how wonderful it has been to see all the fans come out in force for the JuniorGP World Championship visit, 4th round of the 2025 campaign. And riders have come out, fans have come out to support their riders in numbers, which is wonderful to see the next generation of talent really capturing the eye of motorsports fans. Aragon, of course, a racing heartland of Spain.
Absolutely, Alcañiz, historic. There's real culture here of motorsport, but especially bikes. We've seen so many riders here really excelling, and it's historic, as we've said.
Yeah, absolutely. It used to be the history of Alcañiz, you know, very interesting. MotorLand Aragón was built in 2009, held its first Grand Prix in 2010, and since then it's been a regular fixture of the motorsports calendar, not just MotoGP, but the junior categories as well, amongst other non-two-wheeled racing formats. But the history of Alcañiz as well, that the Ciudad de Alcañiz used to have street racing here from 1965 all the way to 2003. But of course, street racing then led, because of such a love for the sport, that it's led to the development of MotorLand Aragón, which we've all come to know and love over the past 15 years, the host of some iconic races throughout the years. I mean, the MotoGP Championship visited here just a few weeks ago, and we saw Marc Marquez take a brilliant victory the first time. Marc Marquez naturally loves this home circuit of his here, left-handed for the most of it, anti-clockwise circuit, which we know Marc Marquez loves. And he dominated. He first rider in 10 years, I think it was, to top every session.
10 years? You are a real fountain of knowledge today, Chris.
Don't quote me on that, but I believe it had been quite a few years since Marc Marquez did it. 10 years previous? I can't remember where.
I think when he was with Gresini, he didn't finish top in practice, perhaps, but in every other session, so he was quite close.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was sensational. Obviously, we saw that historic moment when he won for the first time on a Ducati, doing so with Gresini back in 2024, before he joined the factory team, and that was a hugely cathartic moment. His return to winning ways for the first time in around 3 years. I think it was 1,039 days, but around there. I mean,
I think it was 1,037. If we're going to call you up, I'm not 100% sure, but
yeah, and just seeing how much it meant to him as well as he crossed the line.
Yeah, absolutely super. Of course, Aragon, a stronghold of Marc Marquez.
Well, we say that his teammate as well, Pecco Bagnaia, in 2022, when he beat Marc Marquez in that phenomenal battle. That was Bagnaia, 2021, was it?
2021.
Bagnaia's first win in MotoGP, if I'm not mistaken.
Absolutely, yeah. We saw it across that last 4 laps. I think Marquez attempted 7 overtakes on Bagnaia. Could you imagine that, winning your first MotoGP race? Most people would like a nice canter to the line, but you've just got the number 93 swarming all over you at one of his favourite circuits, and you hold true and firm to take a victory.
I think that would make it taste all the more sweeter. And I don't think at that point they would ever have imagined that they would end up as teammates either.
No. It's funny. It's a funny old game, isn't it? It's a funny old game of how these things can work. So we're talking about Marc Marquez, of course, because we're here at MotorLand Aragón, a stronghold of his, but not just that, because we've got such an endless conveyor belt of Spanish talent coming through the ranks. And you look at Carlos Cano, we really can't sing his praises enough. He's just the returning European Talent Cup champion. Treated us in 2024 as a rookie to a phenomenal title fight with Marco Morelli. The two of them treated us to a great title fight. Marco Morelli, of course, now has moved on to JuniorGP, but Cano, just being that little bit too young, has opted for another year in European Talent Cup. Huge talent. He's been on pole 3 times already this season. Hasn't quite converted them into the victories we thought he'd be taking, because the likes of Alvaro Lucas, Fernando Bujosa, Alex Longarella, Chianto Ramadipa have all come to the fore in 2025.
Yeah, I mean, they've all been absolutely sensational. It really is. Ramadipa as well has been sensational. It's really good to have seen him get on the top step of the podium as well back in that opening race in Magny-Cours. Taking it to the leading riders, all of whom are Spanish, as we mentioned there, just how important Aragon is in the history of Spanish motorcycling. 3 riders, all from Spain, leading the ETC: Alex Longarella, Alvaro Lucas, and Fernando Bujosa, who also won, of course, in Magny-Cours. So yeah, really, really important part of Spanish motorcycling history here is MotorLand Aragón. And as we were talking about Marc Marquez for a while, not too far from his hometown of Cervera in Lleida, in the neighbouring Catalonia. Not too far at all.
No, of course, Catalonia is a stronghold for racing, motorcycle racing. You would have to say Catalonia and Emilia-Romagna region in Italy really do provide the top riders at the top level of the sport. And you can see why when they have such numbers coming through at youth level, at the junior categories. It's superb. But we did mention, of course, that there are 17 nationalities competing in this European Talent Cup, which is fantastic to see. But they're not just competing, they're not just taking part, they're at the business end of proceedings. You look at Kiandra Ramadipa from Indonesia, Travis Borg from Malta, Yaroslav Karpushin from Kyrgyzstan.
Yeah, Tina's from Venezuela as well. I mean, it's
excellent
great to see. Yeah, exactly. So many different nationalities competing at such a competitive level here in the European Talent Cup.
So, yeah, superb stuff to see. So we're waiting for more information on when we will resume the action. We are, of course, seeing a red flag waved after a big crash for who I believe was Nikola Miroslavov of the MLAV racing team.
Starting from P11, so
yeah, it seemed
a little bit further back.
He made contact with another rider at lights out, and that just sent him careering into the pit wall. So hopefully everything here is precautionary, and indeed we do have an update, a quick restart procedure. Pit lane will open at 1:35 for 60 seconds, and we'll have an 8-lap race. So we will get back underway in around about 8 minutes for the European Talent Cup race. The marshals and everybody has cleared the front start straight, the front straight start finish line, and we are ready to go racing again as we see some Marc Marquez and Red Bull KTM fans there.
A very, very important umbrella in this relentless sunshine beating down, although as I mentioned earlier in this broadcast, it's around 27 degrees, which for the end of July, beginning of August in Aragon is not normal. It's much cooler, there's a bit of a breeze, it's very pleasant out there, great conditions for racing.
Indeed, as we just looking at some of the officials organising things, as we checked out some of the fans as well, and confirmation then at the bottom of your screens, the quick restart procedure. Pit lane will open at 1:35 for 60 seconds, 8 laps, taking up the original grid positions. So once they take up the grid positions, we'll take a warm-up lap, and then we will get underway once again.
Ignacio Galan will be able to start from P15 again on that Tame Impala Honda machine after his issue.
Well spotted, Connor. Yeah, Ignacio Galan, of course, had some issues on the warm-up lap last time around and had to start from pit lane. So a reprieve for Galan.
As all the teams working behind the scenes now, trying to get everything up and running as quickly as possible. You've got to commend all of the work, not just from the teams, but everyone involved at the FIM JuniorGP World Championship as well.
Absolutely. A lot of work goes in behind the scenes, and to running a race day. It's not just a race day, it's a race weekend with a lot of teams, officials, companies all involved in getting things going. So the IGAC Snipers team box. We're looking at Alex Ungarella.
Championship leader.
Yeah, championship leader. So he's starting from 6th. Didn't have the worst of starts, a decent start. It was Bujosa though, who grabbed the headlines at lights out, you'd have to say, last time around, grabbing the whole shot ahead of Carlos Cano. Bujosa and Cano this year have been a joy to watch, the pair of them. Bujosa, like, race 1 in Estoril, came flying out of the blocks and ran away with it. As we say hello to some fans and a hello back to you. But Bujosa, it's been a joy to watch this year.
It's almost as if you could hear me.
The super fans. He ran away with race 1, and then him and Carlos Cano treated us to a superb battle in race 2 back in Portugal. Unfortunately though, for Bujosa, having come 2nd in that battle, he was disqualified in a technical infraction later in the day, seeing him lose some crucial points because he is a championship contender. Second time out in Jerez, there was a P2 and a DNF. And Magny-Cours saw him pick up a victory in a P4. Magny-Cours, his best weekend on paper overall, you'd have to say. A victory, didn't get that podium, but picked up the points to really help his podium charge. So expect him to very much be in the victory fight. But if he does take a victory here today, you'd have to wonder, will he go all out again to fight for another, or is he going to play the longer game here? Show a little bit of maturity, a little bit of racecraft in race 2. If of course, he does pick up a strong result in race 1.
I think it's going to be very difficult to say when we see riders of this caliber and competition of this caliber take to the track. And once you're actually in that frame of mind of racing, if you feel like you need to be more conservative, maybe just get to the checkered flag. Well, if you're a rider, your adrenaline is coursing through your veins and you're only thinking about crossing that finish line as high as possible. And if it's on the podium, even better. And if it's first, best of all.
Yeah, here we see some of the marshals showing off their dance moves. I believe it's what the kids call aura farming.
Aura farming?
Aura farming, I believe. It's a viral moment. We've seen Marc Marquez do the celebration. I believe this is called aura farming as well, our top fan. And Toprak has also done it. We've seen a number of riders do it, but it's from a viral video all the way from Indonesia.
International.
Yeah. I have seen the original video, and it is pretty cool.
Is it?
It is very cool.
I don't know why I'm saying is it. I've also seen it. We're both young, both very much
Young,
still
hip.
with it.
I don't know about that.
Trying to be.
I don't know about that. We tried to be. Maybe we tried too hard.
You tried too hard. I think I just got managed.
Okay then, so about 2 minutes, moving swiftly on. About 2 minutes, less than 2 minutes now until pit lane should open. Here we go, more aura farming.
The Ducati fan has another Ducati fan.
We've got everyone doing it around.
Crivier.
Of course, Alex Crivier, the first ever Spanish MotoGP world champion, revered in Spanish motorsports, but look at that.
What a day out these two are
normally
having.
you should see the son teach the father these types of moves, but it seems the opposite way around here.
You can learn a lot from the youth of today. Very interesting perspectives like aura farming.
Yeah. I've only just discovered the term. I regret bringing it up already.
Well, what are the possibilities of us two doing a TikTok quickly of aura farming in the commentary box? High or?
0.
0%
chance of that, I believe, Connor.
Well, I feel like everyone listening now will want to see that. The challenge has been issued.
Silence. The silence is deafening. So, the fans patiently waiting now as we look to get underway once again for the European Touring Cup race here. So it is not quite scorching conditions, but it is quite balmy out there, you'd have to say. So you'd hope the fans taking it in have got the necessary sunscreen and brollies and everything to protect themselves as we finally see some riders peel out of their boxes. And they will get ready for the quick start procedure. Pit lane opens up in about 10 seconds time. And you can see the European Talent Cup riders are eager to get out and ready
Yeah, absolutely.
Race. Pit lane now open. Yeah. As the riders head on out. So we will go again after a red flag delay here at the European Talent Cup. A reminder that this is the sole European Talent Cup race in Aragon. Each round before we've seen double races. This is the sole race.
Are you disappointed by that? Would you like to see more ETC action, Chris?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. The question is then, if you can only have if you have two ETC races, which race of JuniorGP and Moto2 do you give up? I would say let's just do double races for all of them. But yeah, European Talent Cup, definitely one of the highlight races of any JuniorGP weekend. Always unpredictable. So, just riders coming out of the pit lane. This is the siding lap. This, of course, the reverse angle of the reverse corkscrew, which is right to left. The long lap penalty. So, through sector 3 we go. Key overtaking spots here as well, just in front of the iconic Aragon wall at turn 12. Sometimes you see it at turn 13, but turn 14 and 15 do offer better chances for an overtake. Before we get onto the lengthy back straight that leads onto the long sweeping left-handed front straight. And we mentioned it just before lights out previously that in the European Talent Cup, Connor, you'd have to imagine that this lengthy back straight is going to be pivotal when it comes down to the final lap, with slipstream having such a huge effect on these riders.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's just going to mean that we're going to see so many moments where any rider can take the lead going into the penultimate and ultimate corner. As we've seen often at this level in the ETC, photo finishes are almost to be expected when riders this quality are doing battle when slipstreams are so important.
So we're ready to go again. Eyes on Carlos Cano, the pole sitter, the UAX 72 Artbox rider, the huge precocious talent in the European Talent Cup. Launches from pole position, but it was Fernando Bojosa last time around who did get the better start and get ahead of him. Alvaro Lucas, Chiandra Ramadipa, Alex Longarella, all main figures in the championship fight, but also keep an eye on Eneko Osorio, the number 94, coming in with his career best qualifying. Can he back that up with a strong performance and get himself onto the podium? So it's the warm-up lap, of course. We go around on. One more lap of MotorLand Aragón, 5 kilometers in length and 17 turns of the anti-clockwise circuit before we go racing again the European Talent Cup.
I do wonder what Carlos Cano is going to be offering for us here today. Obviously he won in one of the 2 races here last year in the ETC as he stormed to the European Talent Cup trophy. This time around, as we've mentioned previously, he's not perhaps been delivering according to the incredibly high standards that he himself has from pole position. He's in an excellent place to try and remedy that and really have an inflection point in his season.
Yeah, his one-lap pace throughout this season has been outstanding. 3 poles already in 2025. There have been has been victories, of course, but just not the same level of consistency we saw when he battled Morelli for the title last season. However, on pole again here, you would have to fancy him to be among the lead riders here, even when he does crash out. Last time out, it was in a battle for a victory with Alex Longarella, the championship leader. And it was the same. He was in the victory fight in Estoril when he crashed out. So he is always there or thereabouts. It's just about getting that little bit extra to get over the line. As we take a look at the championship standings, Alex Longarella 97 points, 10 points ahead of Alvaro Lucas. Fernando Bojosa in 3rd position. Chiandra Ramadipa 24 points off the top, but very much in the conversation. Ramadipa has a long lap penalty coming his way as well today.
Yeah, and Carlos kind of just missing out on that list that we had on your screens there. He is currently 5th with 65 points, still in the top 5 despite those 2 quite significant crashes, meaning that he was unable to take points in race 1 in Estoril and race 1 in Magny-Cours in our previous round.
So just about ready to go then here. A couple of red flags today in both in the ETC and in the previous race have seen this race delayed until 1:40 p.m. But we are ready to go racing in the European Talent Cup. And it should be another blockbuster. It always is in the European Talent Cup, so let's get ready to race.
Absolutely, there we can see our front row. The riders are ready.
So it is Carlos Cano launching from pole position, but Fernando Bojosa will be looking to repeat the trick. Will Lightning strike twice here in Aragon, and will the 69 of Bojosa get ahead of the number 1 for the whole shot, or will we see another rider come to the fore? We are racing in the European Talent Cup in Aragon, and the riders are away, and it is going to be Alvaro Lucas, I think, who gets the best start of the lot. Yes, it is, but Bojosa's got the inside line, and Cano has had a miserable start. He's down into 4th position. There's another rider who's after sneaking into 6th. Is it Neko Osorio? Has shot up to 2nd from the 2nd row. Brilliant start from Osorio, but a miserable start for Carlos Cano, who has shuffled down the pecking order, but he's quickly back ahead of Bojosa, and he's running in 3rd position. Thankfully, all the riders are away safely this time.
Yeah, what a wonderful start from Alvaro Lucas there. He really took advantage of the fact that our pole sitter kind of wasn't able to get away as well as he wanted. It now looks like he's dropped down to 4th. However, briefly, as Bojosa gets ahead of him, yeah, the 2 rivals in the championship, rivals on the track right now, as Eneko looks to get ahead there, trying to make a move on Alvaro Lucas, unable to do so, but this is very, very tight as we come down the reverse corkscrew.
Yeah, absolutely dream start for Neko Osorio. We asked if he could back up his qualifying performance. He absolutely can. That seems to be the message he's sending out, because he's about to go for the lead ahead of Alvaro Lucas. Will he get in front?
Look at Bojosa
there. 4 abreast. It's going to be, well, Neko Osorio is going to be relegated to 4th position here, I think. Cano has run it wide, but Bojosa has taken the lead. They went 4 abreast there into turn 12, and it's Bojosa who has come out on top ahead of Lucas with Cano, and then I think that's Keandra Ramadipa has just gone a little bit wide into turn 14.
Yeah, absolutely sensational there from Bojosa. We just saw a 2-in-1 overtake there to claim the lead, to claim P1. He's just ahead of Alvaro Lucas now, who also is using that slipstream to try and get as much speed as possible as we head into turn 16.
Yeah, Bojosa leading here, but Eneko Osorio is having a little look up the inside. He's running in P3, but Alvaro Lucas shuts the door in front of his face, and Osorio now has the wider line. Will he get the better drive going out onto the front straight? But Bojosa doing brilliantly to lead this race. Will he lead going into turn 1? It certainly doesn't look like it, because Eneko Osorio has pulled out wide, but as has Lucas, as Osorio has a moment. So Bojosa has dropped to 3rd position, and Alvaro Lucas now in the lead. Carlos Cano is 4th, championship leader. Alex Ongarella is 5th. Keandra Ramadipa leads. Travis Borg and Finn Crataquil, Mateo Marlanda and Izan Rodriguez complete the top 10 as things stand. And there you have confirmation. Keandra Ramadipa can now serve his long lap penalty. Keep an eye on the number 32. The long lap penalty loop is just coming up here. This is turn 7. Long lap penalty loop is at after turn 9. Will Ramadipa peel out to try and serve it? But it's all chopping and changing in this battle here. Ramadipa has moved into 3rd position with Bojosa in 2nd. Alvaro Lucas leading the way. Ramadipa does come out,
he's going in, So it's tremendously unfair to say keep an eye on a rider, in particular in an ETC race, when it's chopping and changing like this. I mean,
yeah, Ramadipa, let's see where that. He was riding in 3rd, 4th position going into that. I think he has slotted quite far back now.
Yeah, he's dropping down.
That is into 15th position. Ah, well, that was a costly long lap penalty, and he didn't have the cleanest time around it, but he got through it, doesn't need to repeat it. Back out front, it's Bohosa, who's going to lead over Carlos Cano as he makes his move on Alvaro Lucas. Lucas being relegated into third position, and Echo Osorio still very much in the conversation, as are Alex Longarella and Travis Borg. But Bohosa has now got a little bit of ground to run ahead of him, as Alvaro Lucas is looking to respond on Carlos Cano on this long front straight. So Bohosa is leading, but will he lead over the line as he come around the double left-hander, the long sweeping left-hander? It's Cano in second, ahead of Alvaro Lucas, and Osorio in fourth position. We saw it all chop and change last time around. Leading over the line, it's going to be Bohosa, I think, but look how tight it is getting. It is very close. Alvaro Lucas has got the inside line. Is he going to make it stick? He will for a second, but Carlos Cano takes the lead.
That's exactly the kind of thing that we were talking about earlier when we mentioned slipstream, when you come off that back straight. And just incidentally, we have seen confirmation there of double long lap penalties for Travis Borg and San Juan there, so they'll have to be aware of that as well.
Yeah.
As Cano hits the lead, I think, here briefly. Yep, it's Cano in the lead. Karpushin with a new best race lap as well.
Yeah, Yaroslav Karpushin was slapped with a long lap penalty, but do you know, or with the back of the grid start, I should say. But do you know where he is, Connor? He's in 9th position. He is Karpushin his way up through the field, and that is how you slip it into.
No, wonderful, wonderful, well done. A master at work.
I know. Carlos Cano then leading, but yeah, keep an eye on Yaroslav Karpushin, because he did start at the back of the grid. He's got a habit of doing this in 2025. Doesn't need the Kyrgyzstani rider, starting deep on the grid but pushing his way into podium potential. So the number 70, he's just in between Finn Kratoquil and Izan Rodriguez, and he's moved ahead of Kratoquil now. He's behind Marolanda, 1.4 seconds off the lead as Cano runs it a little bit wide and onto the green there.
Yeah, and he's just had his fastest sector 2 as well, so if he can keep improving his pace, then he's definitely one to watch.
Yeah, with all this chopping and changing out front, Cano now has led for a couple of sectors, but the race hasn't settled down into a rhythm, the rhythm being that there's chopping and changing, so that is going to bring riders further back into it. Like, I mean, you can see the wide shot here. How many riders is that, Connor, in this podium battle?
5, 6,
there's
7,
very
8,
little
9,
to
10, 11,
separate them. But Bohosa then takes the lead.
13, with a quick observation.
13, you say? Keandra Ramadipa at the back.
The last one, yeah. But then even the gap between him and the rider behind, Antoine Lativi, isn't that much. I think it's just maybe 0.3 of a second. And Karpushin up into 6th.
There he is, the number 70. There he is. So he's very much in contention, but Cano now has a couple of bike lengths to Longarella and Bohosa. Longarella now is getting involved at the fight at the front. He's into 2nd position. Bohosa trying to hang it on the outside, going around turn 3, but not working for him. So Echo Osorio is also still in this fight, but it's Bohosa, it's Cano, it's Lucas and Longarella. The 4 main protagonists, I'd say, of the 2025 campaign are doing their business. They are being joined by a couple of other riders, like Echo Osorio, Matteo Marolanda. Who else is in there? The number 92 of Travis Borg. Doesn't seem he has served any of his penalties yet.
No, you would imagine that they would have quite a significant impact at this point on where he's running. That said, though, Ramadipa, who had already gone through the long lap penalty loop, now running in 12th. He was briefly 11th after being dropped back in 15th. So there's still time, there's still room to advance through the field.
Antoine Nativi, as you saw there, the first rider into the 2:01s. So brilliant stuff from the French rider. He is back in 13th, another rider who started at the back of the grid. Real disappointing, actually, because I think Nativi qualified on the 2nd or 3rd row before he was slapped with a penalty that saw him start further back. So a case of what could have been for the French rider.
There's a bit of a gap opening up between these leading 4 riders as well now. That will be exactly what Cano wants.
Well, let's see if this gap remains, because we're coming on to the back straight. So slipstream should play an effect, and every time we've seen riders try and make a move around 16 and 17. Will we see the same again? And we will indeed, because Alex Longarella goes up the inside of Bohosa, but he's not going to be close enough to Cano to disrupt the reigning champion. However, Bohosa now will line up a move into turn 1, you would have to imagine. Go, go, go. 4 laps to go. Here we go, 3 abreast. Longarella has seized the lead. Bohosa is making that move into turn 1, but Cano has dropped back and is going to have that inside line, but on the right-hander, it's going to favour Bohosa and Longarella.
Yeah, it does look like that. Cano doing everything to try and get back ahead. I mean, that gap that I mentioned is just non-existent now. There's a matter of centimetres between this leading 4, and they are doing battle like the best.
Yeah, so it's Bohosa and Longarella going toe-to-toe out front. Bohosa now seizes the lead off the championship leader, but you can just imagine this is all going to change. And let's have a little look at who's in 5th place, Conor Doherty. Why, it's Jaroslav Karpushin, all the way from the back of the grid. He's doing it again. He's done it before. He did it in Jerez. He's doing it again. From the back of the grid into podium contention. He crashed out in Jerez, one of the races. And I have to remind myself if he actually finished on the podium in the other one. But it is brilliant, brilliant stuff from the Kyrgyzstani rider.
Yeah, he's no stranger to the podium now, having done so earlier this season. His maiden European Talent Cup pole, and now he's hungry for more. He's looking to build on it, and he's showing such incredible pace here in Aragon. He's going to have his work cut out with these riders ahead of him, though.
Yeah, 4 has become 5 with Eneko Osorio leading that group in 6th place. But Osorio is quite close as well. There's only a few tenths of a second, but there are a few bike lengths. Let's see how much of an advantage this lead group will have coming over the line once again.
Well, there goes Longarella.
Longarella has made his move for the lead, but will he lead over the line? This is all crucial information for these riders as well. Do they want to be in the leading position coming around this corner? Because Bohosa, a couple laps ago, led over the line when he led out of the final corner. But there was changing and chopping and changing. Longarella does indeed lead over the line. So it looks like if you're leading going in to turn 17 and even perhaps turn 16, it might be enough for the victory here. Turn 1 though, as we have every single time so far, seen some changes. Bohosa makes that attack up the inside, but Longarella responds, and Bohosa's just out of the seat, not once but twice.
Yeah.
But Carlos Cano has pounced. And number 92, yeah, we noticed it that Travis Borg had a double long lap penalty, but we noticed he was also still in contention in this top 10 group, but he's been given a ride through penalty. He's ignored the long lap penalty. So maximum punishment for the Maltese rider.
Yeah, and you have to wonder why he didn't go through that loop. He had a double long lap, if I'm not mistaken, as Cano hits the lead briefly. Alvaro Lucas isn't going to allow him to stay there comfortably for long, though, as we come down the corkscrew here. It is Cano as we go into turn 10, Marc Marquez corner.
Yeah, Cano leading the way here. So Alvaro Lucas jumping up into 2nd position as Fernando Bohosa and Alex Longarella continue to apply the pressure. Jaroslav Karpushin's gotten himself into this lead group, but we haven't seen him make too many moves, but he's just made one there into turn 12 in front of the iconic Aragon wall, and he's moved up into 4th position at the expense of the championship leader, number 45, Longarella. Karpushin then is really motoring here. Will he make a move coming down this back straight? You would have to imagine he will fancy it because he's got Alvaro Lucas in. He's in the slipstream of Alvaro Lucas here. Will he get the opportunity to make a move up the inside coming through turn 16
very,
and
very
17?
close there.
So Cano and Bohosa go side by side. Bohosa has got his nose in front ever so slightly, but it's Alex Longarella.
Yeah,
Where's Alex Longarella come from? He has come from nowhere to lead this race. Brilliant stuff from the championship leader, but Cano looking to respond immediately. So once again, Longarella leads over the line, but only after making a last-ditch move at turn 16. So that seems to be the key move for Longarella. Get in front at turn 16.
Yeah, that's going to be
Bohosa's key move. Once again,
key.
Bohosa makes a move at turn 1, but he is not leading coming over those final corners. So it is a question: do you want to be leading coming out of turn 15 and onto that back straight? It seems if you're leading, it might be to your detriment.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be incredibly intelligent here. It's an elaborate game of chess putting everything together here for these riders in the ETC with the slipstream and all of the different variables that they've got to keep in mind. It's going to be so difficult to call this one because any of these riders is capable of making the move at the right time. We're just going to have to see who is able to deliver. And as you mentioned, turn 16 looks like it could prove absolutely vital.
Yeah, plenty of fireworks left in this one. We've been focused on the top 5 for some time now as we look at Travis Borg, who's got a ride-through penalty coming his way. At this stage, you would imagine he probably isn't going to take it, and we'll just have to deal with the consequences post-race. Bohosa then leading Cano over Longarella coming through turn 12. So once again, let's watch and see what the strategies are here. It's going to be Bohosa leading coming onto the back straight. Will Cano dive up the inside? Karpushin and Longarella going side by side just behind him in the battle for P3. Alvaro Lucas keeping his powder dry as well. But plenty of fireworks left in this one as we have just over 1 lap remaining. It's Bohosa over Cano over Longarella, and Longarella is now making that move we've seen him do on a number of occasions over the last couple of laps to look for the inside line at turn 16 as Cano does take the lead. Longarella's got that inside line. Bohosa's down into 3rd position. But it's Karpushin who fires it up the inside of 1, 2, 3 riders. Karpushin, brilliant. He's going to lead over the line, coming on to the last lap, but they go side by side. Or he might not lead over the line. He didn't get the drive out the corner, and that could prove crucial. Brilliant stuff. It's going to be Cano, Bohosa, Longarella into turn 1. Karpushin all of a sudden is back down into 5th position at the expense. But Alvaro Lucas moving into 4th at the Kyrgyzstani rider's expense. So it is, as you say, a high-speed chess match here. We've seen a number of strategies adopted at that last corner. Karpushin taking 3 riders in turn 16. A desperate lunge up the inside, but he did not lead over the line. The 2 times Longarella led over the line, he took the tight turn 16 line and managed to keep it and get the drive out. So that seems to be the move to go for here. But we've only got, what, about 10 corners remaining as we come through turn 7 into the reverse corkscrew, and it's 3 abreast. You can't do that at the reverse corkscrew, lads.
Oh, this is absolutely incredible racing from these riders. They're demonstrating their intelligence. Who's going to be the rider to declare checkmate? It could be at any point here as we go into the final 2 sectors. We're approaching turn 12. Is anyone going to make a move here?
Yeah, you saw Emilio Alzamora and his team, the 72 Artbox team, nervously watching on as Carlos Cano looked for victory. He's riding in 3rd position. It's the championship leader, Alex Longarella, who has the advantage. Through turn 14 we go with the all-important turn 15 and back straight coming up. So it's Alex Longarella who is leading on the back straight. Bohosa in 2nd, Cano in 3rd, 46 Alvaro Lucas in 4th, with Karpushin just behind in 5th. Longarella holds the advantage, but for how long? Here we go, the all-pivotal moment of the race. Cano
look at Cano, he's putting himself
the inside line, and Cano is going to take the lead here, isn't he? Bohosa is in 2nd, Lucas has got the inside line for 3rd, but Bohosa fights back, gets the cut back, and Bohosa is going to lead out to the final corner, and it looks like he's going to lead over the line. Brilliant stuff from Fernando Bohosa, a race winner again. It's Cano in 2nd, and Karpushin pinches 3rd from Alvaro Lucas, I should say, and Alex Longarella, the championship leader, is in 5th. And now we can catch our breath, Conor.
Now breathe for a moment, because that was absolutely sensational. I think we have to say it wasn't just the last lap, it was the last lap and a half, because once again, turn 16 going into that last lap was absolutely vital. And then we saw again how Bohosa dealt with that problem. He put all of his pieces in the right position. And what did he declare, Chris?
Checkmate, I believe.
Absolutely. He was so intelligent. What an inspired ride from Fernando Bohosa. Yeah. Absolutely incredible.
Superb ride. That's 2 victories in a row. And I believe it makes him the new championship leader, but we'll have confirmation of that shortly. 25 points. So victory, first and foremost, but also a crucial 25 championship points as his title bid takes flight. And of course, as we've seen, racing this weekend in honor of Pau Alsina. The Pau Alsina flags from the late JuniorGP rider. The riders are taking them around in honor of the number 26.
Yeah, it's really quite moving to see these tributes paid by the riders to someone who is a very much loved figure in this paddock. Of course, the ETC riders would have had Pau Alsina as someone to look up to. And yeah, though we can just see Carlos Cano with the flag, it's great to see the way that this paddock has rallied around Pau and, of course, his friends and family.
Absolutely. So the tributes are being paid for Pau Alsina as Carlos Cano bears the Alsina flag. Carlos Cano, the reigning champion in the European Talent Cup, takes podium P2, just misses out on the victory as Bohosa pulls off a brilliant last corner maneuver for his third win of the season. Pole sitter Cano, though, not the victory, but 20 crucial championship points for him. And with only one European Talent Cup race in Aragon, it's nothing to be sniffed at. Back on the podium, first podium since race 2 in Jerez, and his third overall this season. The other one coming in Estoril, which was a race victory in race 2. So Cano does indeed get his championship tilt back up and running. 20 points should see him move up one position into 4th, I think it is, with Longrella, Lucas and Bohosa still holding just a little bit of an advantage, and all three of them finishing inside the top 5. What a ride though for Jaroslav Karpushin. He has done it again. Starting from towards the back of the grid is not an issue for the Kyrgyzstani rider. Absolutely sensational ride. 23rd to 3rd. He takes 3rd position off the hands of Alvaro Lucas at the wire. Just 1/100th of a second separating them. Indeed, there was only 1/10 between Cano and Bohosa, but 1/10.5 between Bohosa and Lucas, so you could throw a blanket over the top 4. Alvaro Lucas, it's another P4 for the rider second in the championship. Or for the rider who was second in the championship. I think he does drop to 3rd position now. Another P4 after Estoril double P4. He did get a victory in Jerez and a podium Magny-Cours, double podium in Magny-Cours, but P4 keeps his championship momentum going. Not the podium he would have liked, but what a ride from Jaroslav Karpushin. Sensational stuff from the Kyrgyzstani rider, back on the podium for a 2nd time this year, the other one coming in Jerez. So as we watch down Parc Ferme, we will hear from Fernando Bohosa, your AC Racing Team rider and race winner, very shortly once he gets back into pit lane. I'm not sure if he has arrived yet, but there's Carlos Cano debriefing Emilio Ansmora and his team. Let's have a little listen in. This is Jaroslav Karpushin. High fives all around. 6th in the standings. Sees him move up one position for the 15-year-old. 2nd podium of the campaign for the Frando Racing VHC team rider. And here's your race winner, Fernando Bohosa. So confirmation then that 108 points for Bohosa sees him take the championship lead. He gets 25, with Alex Longrella had 97 points coming into this one. Picks up 11 for his 5th place finish, which means himself and Bohosa are tied at the top of the European Talent Cup standings, but Bohosa has won more races. So by virtue of winning more races, Bohosa stands in front of Alex Longrella, despite both being on 108 points. So this was the brilliant winning overtake from Fernando Bujosa. It was Cano who led going through 16, but he got the cut back on the reigning champion to come through 17 in the lead and lead over the line. And there you can see the battle for third, how close it was as Karpushin just about edges out Alvaro Lucas. Sensational stuff from the ACE Racing team rider. 2 wins in a row now for the young Spaniard. Delight down at the ACE Racing team garages, and we're going to hear from him very shortly. But he's going to take some stopping. We've got, what, 4 more races, I believe, coming up in the European Talent Cup. We head to Misano, Catalonia, and Valencia. And he is now in pole position for the championship. So let's hear from Fernando Bujosa, who's down in Parc Ferme with Connor.
That's right, Fernando. What a race. It looked like turn 16 was so important. You won the last race, and now you've won the race here. And now you're the new championship leader. How are you feeling?
No, I'm so excited. This is incredible. When I start the season, I don't know if I'll be here, but the work of the team, the precision all the time, working, this is the result. Now championship lead, and in Misano, improve more. And nothing to say. Pau is my teammate last year, incredible guy. I don't know how bad is this sport in that things, and this race is for him because I lose a big friend.
Very touching words there. Can you explain to us in castellano también, por favor?
Bueno, al principio de temporada no esperaba estar aquí, pero el trabajo y el sacrificio nos llega a estos resultados. Toda la pretemporada, todo el camino hecho con el equipo. Estamos aquí súper contentos, nuevo líder, y en Misano a seguir adelante, a aumentar el liderato. Y nada, increíble. Y sobre todo dedicar esta carrera a Pau Alsina, mi compañero de equipo del año pasado, y nada. Gracias a todos.
Thank you and well done.
Carlos Cano started on pole position in the European Talent Cup race in Aragon, but a big crash at lights out saw the red flag waved and caused a lengthy delay. We did go racing again with Cano starting on pole position, this time getting a better launch, but it didn't stop Alvaro Lucas, Osorio and Bujosa from getting the whole shot ahead of him. Cano relegates the 4th position. Alvaro Lucas and Bujosa battled for the lead out front as Eneko Osorio played a role in the lead fight, as did Keandro Ramadipa across the early stages. However, it was Bujosa, Cano, Lucas Longarella who led the way for the majority of the race as Keandro Ramadipa had to serve a long lap penalty, rejoining in P15. Here we see Cano going up the inside of Alvaro Lucas and eventually taking the lead as Bujosa responded, relegating Lucas to 3rd position. Yaroslav Karpushin, the number 70, started 23rd, but started charging hard during the race as Bujosa led Longarella, Cano and Lucas, and Karpushin eventually caught up with the lead quartet to see 5 riders battle for victory. Cano seized the initiative once again, but it was constant chopping and changing, as is typical in the European Talent Cup. Bujosa leading Cano as we see Karpushin in 4th position, just ahead of Alvaro Lucas, while Karpushin then pulled off an audacious 3-1 overtake on the penultimate lap, going around the corner for the final time. Cano led going into the final corner, but it was Bujosa then who dived up the inside to take victory ahead of the reigning champion, while Yaroslav Karpushin takes his 2nd podium of the year ahead of Alvaro Lucas. Time for the podium ceremony then. 2 Spaniards on the podium at their home GP here in Aragon. The AC Racing team representative coming out as well, making a habit of seeing the Kyrgyzstani flag on the podium. And long may it continue. Yaroslav Karpushin comes out. 2nd podium of the campaign for the young 15-year-old rider representing the Frando Racing VHC team. Reigning champion Carlos Cano knows a thing or two about podium celebrations, and he is next out for P2. Back onto the podium. Not the win he was looking for, but a solid result nonetheless. And Fernando Bujosa then, AC Racing Team rider, third victory of the season and the new championship leader by virtue of race wins. Superb stuff from Bujosa. Mr. Jean-Marc Desneux, FIM, your vice president, out to present the first couple trophies. First the team representative, and next to Karpushin.
De nuevo Jean-Marc Desneux, ahora es el encargado de entregar este trofeo al tercer clasificado. El equipo de Frando Racing VHC, Jaroslav Karpushin.
Yeah, sensational ride from Jaroslav Karpushin, P23 to P3. He did it in Jerez as well, coming from the back of the grid to get onto the podium, as we see Mr. Jorge Panedes handing out the runner-up trophy and the winner's trophy for the European Talent Cup race in Aragon to Fernando Bujosa. Oh, indeed it isn't. It's Cormac Buchanan, the surprise presenter of an award here. The Moto3 Championship rider, Cormac, we see on the World Championship stage and doing quite well. He, of course, came through the JuniorGP program over recent seasons. Time for the Spanish national anthem.
The national anthem of Spain then rings out after a fantastic ride from Fernando Bujosa, who stands at the top of the podium as we take a photo. This time around, though, it was not a Spanish lockout. Karpushin with his second podium and doing incredibly to do so after starting from P23 on the grid. Here we have then the final result of this European Talent Cup race. It's Fernando Bujosa who comes in first, followed by Carlos Cano and Jaroslav Karpushin on the podium. Alvaro Lucas in P4, Alex Longarella P5, Kiandra Ramadipa in P6, in 7th Osorio, in 8th Krachotwil, and in 9th Mikey Luis Sanchez. In 10th Marulanda, in 11th Nativi, in 12th Gutierrez, in 13th Gabarini, 14th Gonzalo Perez, 15th Savino, 16th Rodriguez, and 17th Boxberger. '18th Galan, 19th Almeida, 20th Cubeles. In P21, it's Tines ahead of Tamburini, who finishes in 22nd, Matsudaira in 23rd, P24 Baluzzo, 25th Remy Georges San Juan. 26th Borelli, Theo in 27th, and Ruth in 28th, and out Miroslav and Travis Borg. After that then, we will have the Riders' Championship, and we have Fernando Bujosa now leading the line, joint on points with Alex Longarella, but having won more races, he does take the top spot. Alvaro Lucas in 3rd, Carlos Cano moves up to 4th, Ramadipa down to 5th, Karpushin up 1 position to 6th, Gutierrez down to 7th, Quachotwil up to 8th, Travis Borg down to 9th. Behind them, Marulanda up 3 spots to 10th, Nativi up to 11th, Gabarini down to 12th, Rodriguez down to 13th, Borelli in 14th, Perez in 15th, Tines 16th, Tessini now in 17th. In 18th, it's Galan. Mikey Lou Sanchez moves up to 19th. Osorio 4 spots to 20th. Rostagni down to 21st. Da Costa to 22nd. Sparks to 23rd. Tamburini to 24th. And level on P25, it's Evan Boxberger, just where he was before. Dakigan in 26th. San Juan in 27th. Almeida 28th. Miroslav in 29th. Van Krugten in 30th, Enriquez in 31st, and Eduardo Savino up 6 spots to 32.
So thank you, Connor, for that lovely roundup of the championship scores. Fernando Bujosa is your race winner from Aragon in the European Talent Cup and the new championship leader. Next up, Misano. Can anyone beat the AC Racing Team rider? Tune in to find out.